Hello, 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 and welcome. This is Beverly-fells-Jones, the Silver Fox of Consciousness, welcoming you to today's podcast. For those of you who are new to this podcast, I'm going to ask that you subscribe. Give me a thumbs up if what I have to say today resonates with you and it gives you something new to think about. Also, gives you a way to make a change in your life and the way you think. For those of you who are listening to this on YouTube, yes, please subscribe, give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends and family. To those who this might give a help to. There's several topics I think I'm going to talk about today, but the very first topic is today is November the 11th, 2019. It is Veterans Day. And this is a day, a special day, that is set aside to thank those of you who have served in the military. I didn't serve in the military. I wanted to. And you go, then why didn't you? Well, I was a different person when I was 18, 19, 20. And back then, I didn't do a lot of research. I depended on my mother on a lot of things. And she said, you cannot join the military till you're 21. I went, okay. She says, otherwise I have to sign for you. And and there was no real reason other than the fact that I was not very up on what was going on at the time. I wasn't paying much attention. I just saw that my neighbor, her daughter, had joined the military. She was in the Air Force. Well, unfortunately, she left the Air Force and she basically convinced me and my mother that it was not some place for a young lady to be. And so we hear many times today about some of the things that women had to deal with in the military. So I didn't go in. So I'm being very honest about it. Also, but my dad was in the military. In fact, my dad was at Tuskegee as a Tuskegee Airman. He was there and did some training as a navigator. But he left the program and he gave me the whole story about why he left, and it was very interesting, which is not something I want to talk about today. Also, during that time frame when I was interested in going into the military, it was at the height of the Vietnam War. So my mother worked hard to convince me to wait till I was 21. By the time I was 21, I had bills up to my gazoo, right? I had bought a car, I was buying some other things, and it was like, well, you can't leave your job and go in the military. So I didn't. And I know some of you are going, why is she telling us that? Because it's on my mind, and I am perfectly honest with you. So I truly do appreciate all of you who have served in the military, sacrificed by being in the military, has gotten the lower salary because you were in the military. And I do hope and I pray that you get everything that you deserved as far as being taken care of when you leave the military. I don't know about the VA and whether there's a GI Bill and all of those things still available, but I tell you, I truly appreciate you. You have made a huge sacrifice, and I honor you. Today, sometimes it's really difficult for me to really give you something that is you can sink your teeth into. Well, I was going through my files today. Every now and then I go through my files because you know how it is on your computer, you lose things. And I came to one and it said Ponder, Prosperity Book. Well, Cathrine Ponder is an author that I paid a lot of attention to. And so I pulled up the file because I knew it was a file that I made some notes with. Right? And she has a book on prosperity. And so I made some notes about that. So many people are just having an issue with this whole idea of many churches and leaders of churches doing this thing called the prosperity gospel. And that is, and excuse me, but I don't do voice imitations, but it's more like God wants you to be prosperous and have everything that you want. You know, and one morning I was at a hotel, by the way, and I turned the TV on because I didn't have to leave for a while. I had really awakened fairly early. And this one person, and I'm not saying their name because I don't want to give them any play, airtime. But they were talking about the 7 secrets of whatever, and I'm going, okay. And I get my notebook out. I said, maybe this is something I'm supposed to watch. And I start writing down these 7 things and, looking at, okay, I'll get your book and all that till I got to number 7. And it really disappointed me. Now, truthfully, when somebody gives you a word or they train you or they give you information that is helpful to you, that will help you become better, when they spend their time to do the research to help bring this to you, or to take something really complicated and bring it down to a point where you could really understand it and make use of it, okay. I will do a love offering for that person. Been to many organizations and many groups, and it's not just a pastor, but it is someone who is, there and talking, and they say, a love offering. We'd like to take up a love offering, and maybe, we recommend that, you give $20. If you can't afford $20, you got 5, 2, 1, whatever. Let's do a love offering for this person because they spent their time preparing the talk. They did the research. You're getting their knowledge. Show them your appreciation. I'm good with that. I'm very good with that. I've been the recipient of that. However, number 7 of these 7 things for prosperity. And he began to tell the story about he was down to his last $1,000, and it was either 1,000, 2,000, somewhere in there. And he was at a meeting, and he was called to just give that 2,000 or that 1,000, whatever he had. Gave all that he had, just like the woman at the well who gave all that she had. He didn't know where he was going to get more money from, but he knew he needed to sow a seed. He had to sow a seed that night, and so he sowed that $1,000. And within 24 hours, he was a recording artist. Within 24 hours, he had gotten a $10,000 contract. He got 10 times what he had put up as a seed. Then another time, he did another amount, and he got 100 times, because the Lord will promise you at least 100 times, 10 times, whatever you sow as a seed. So sow your seed today. by sending in, to the program. And that's the seventh one, because you've got to sow a seed to show that you are believing in the word that he had just given. In fact, he went on to say, use your credit card. Put it on your credit card. Even max your credit card out. You've got to show the Lord that you believe. Well, he just knocked me out with that. And it knocked me out a long time ago with that type of words. That I want to say preying on the poor and the downtrodden and people who have just a little bit of hope. And you take their little bit of money. When I was cleaning out my house after my divorce, and I needed some help from some people to help me get it ready for sale. And a friend of mine said, oh, I've got a friend, she needs some extra money. I said, okay. So she came and she brought a friend with her. I said, yeah, I need at least a couple people because we got a lot of work to do. And she said, oh, yeah, I knew the Lord would make a way. I said, really? You're having some struggles? She said, yes. She said, I didn't have enough for my rent. I paid my tithe, and I knew that the Lord would find a way for me to make some money once I paid my tithe. I said, how often does this happen? And she said, what do you mean? I said, well, are there some months that you are really struggling to make your rent after you've paid your tithe? Yeah. Have you ever thought about the fact that you could pay your rent because the Lord had provided that money for you? And then you take money and, put it toward the church and give your donation. Now, just to be very honest up front, I am outside of the tithing piece because tithing was in the Old Testament, and in the New Testament, all the Old Testament rules and regulations have gone away. So tithing tied with how much money you're going to get back and how much you're being blessed, to me, that is, I'm giving money to get money. I'm not giving this out of love or out of, a sense of obligation to say thank you for providing these services and so on, because that's what the tithe was for in the Jewish community, to help pay for the priests that were handling the synagogue and to help the poor, to help provide things for the poor and widowed, which is not what happens today. So, just that little piece there. But those 7 things were really good. So, I got a little bit off here because I'm giving you the background for Cathrine Podder and the prosperity idea. But there are some things that I truly believe, and they have worked in my life. And I have not said, okay, give me this and I'll teach you this. I teach you each and every time that I come on air. And I appreciate it if you give me a love offering, which is available if you're on YouTube with a PayPal Me, because it allows me to continue to do these videos. So anyway, I'm getting off track, which I do tend to do. Cathrine said, she quoted Job, the 22nd chapter, the 28th verse. And so I went out there before I started talking to you so that I could figure out, okay, well, what is this really about? So the 28th verse in the 22nd chapter said, Thou shalt also decree a thing, and it shall be established unto thee, and the light shall shine upon thy ways. Well, Job was being tested, and this is the 22nd chapter, and there's a whole lot of questioning about, God. Verse 2 says, Can a man be profitable under God as he that is wise may be profitable unto himself? Is it any pleasure to the Almighty that thou art righteous? Or is it gain to him that thou makest thy ways perfect? Will he reprove thee for fear of thee? Will he enter thee into judgment? Right, so all of this is doing the questioning of Job's steadfastness, okay, in his belief. Well, one of the things that I've talked about before is the fact that you are to be very careful of the words that come out of your mouth. Because honestly, as you speak, you may not remember, you may not think about it, but when you make a decree of your own mouth, those things happen. They happen in some way, somehow. I see it happening in my life all the time. I was on vacation last week in Nashville, and I had missed walking across this bridge. It's the longest walking bridge, in the United States, they say. But you go from downtown Nashville across the river to the Tennessee Titans Stadium. So you can walk across. And when I was on the on-again, off-again bus, sightseeing bus, and they went by, I said, oh, yeah, I forgot I wanted to do that. And I was getting ready because the bus would take me back to the Wyndham timeshare at the end of the day. But we had to be at stop number 1. And so I'm on this bus, and he says, well, this is going to be another hour and some minutes. I said, well, you're not going to get me back by 4. He said, no. I said, okay, well, let me off at the next stop because all the first 4 or 5 stops were really right downtown close to each other. So I get off the bus and I'm walking to another spot in the sightseeing thing, and I look up and there's the entrance to the bridge. It was like, thank you. I got my wish and I went on the bridge. Now some of you may think, that's just a coincidence. I have no coincidences. Sometimes the dominoes fall in just the right order in order to get me what I want or get me where I need to be. So thou shalt decree a thing, and it shall be established unto thee, and light shall shine upon thy ways. So think about what you decree each day. Think about whenever you do I declare, or whenever you say I am. I am happy, I am sad, I am sick, I am well, I am exceptional today, I am fantastic. Even if you're not, bring yourself up and decree that you are fantastic, that you are doing better, that you are well. So when I do the meditation, and I'll do one before we end today, one of the last things I have you mentally repeat after me is, every day, in every way, I am better, and better. Negative thoughts nor images have any power over me at any level of the mind. And if you say this every day, multiple times a day, whenever you think of it, every day in every way, I am better, and better. Let me tell you, a woman found her mate by saying every day, in every way, I'm getting closer and closer to meeting the man of my dreams. I am meeting the man of my dreams. Every day in every way, I am meeting the man of my dreams, of whom I will wed. It took a little bit of time, but most people will say coincidence. They met under really weird circumstances. They connected, they clicked, they started dating, they married. Every day, in every way, I am better, better, and better. Health-wise, I am better. Health-wise, I am doing well. That is what you want to do. Now, she also quoted Psalm 122:7 and said, "Let there be peace within my walls and prosperity within my palaces." So it's kind of like every day in every way, except there will be peace within my home, within my workplace, when I'm driving, and prosperity within my palaces, where I work, my home, with my friends. Believe and think, thou shalt decree a thing, and it shall be established. Let there be peace. Let there be peace on earth. Let there be prosperity within my palaces. Another thing that you can ask yourself in all this idea of being prosperous and healthy and well is when something comes into your life, when somebody makes a statement to you, or you hear something, or you read something in the paper, or you read something contradictory someplace else, and it's like in this day and age, trying to find the facts are really difficult sometimes. And sometimes we just have to say, I don't know. But here are some questions that you can ask yourself. Is it true? Is it kind? Is it needful? Is it true? Is what I'm feeling and hearing, is it true? Does this feel like it's true? And if it does, or is this person saying this thing over and over again, trying to convince themselves and me that it is true? Because even though somebody says something over and over again doesn't mean it's true. It's like, you don't have to believe what I say is true unless you try the things that I ask you to try, which I do. And if it doesn't work, okay, you say, why didn't it work? Did I follow this exactly, or isn't she telling me the truth? Is it true? Experiment, ask the question, see what it means. Is it kind in the sense, are you being kind? I just realized the other day, because somebody said something about smiling to others. I've been doing that for ages, and sometimes I feel weird. So I'm in Nashville, and I'm walking down the street, and this woman is walking toward me, and she's got a slight smile on her face. I look at her, I smile, and say, good morning. I don't know who she is, never saw her before. And she just kind of looked at me, and then she smiled. And I do that a lot. I'll see somebody and I'll look. I'll also look and I'll see a dress on a woman, or an outfit on a woman, or a guy that looks good. And I will say, you look fantastic today. I really like that dress you're wearing. It makes you look fantastic. Do that. It makes you feel good. It makes them feel good. And it is kind. Is it needful? Do you need to tell somebody they made a mistake, or do you think they already knew that? Is it needful? Are you a supervisor that you need to help your people do better? How do you do it? How do you ask to talk to them? How do you make the changes to them? So do you need to say that? Or can you say, or ask a question? Is there anything that you need help on? Is there anything that I can do for you to make your job easier? There is something that I do on a regular basis, and I don't know if it is something you would like to try. It might make it easier for you to do this job. Or say it in such a way, because sometimes I'm not very tactful myself, but say it in such a way that your employees, your kids, your wife, your husband, your best friend is open to hear the suggestion, not the criticism, the suggestion. All right? So you can ask, is it true? So you can go into a meditative state, which is what I do, to talk to my subconscious, to talk to infinite intelligence, the creator of the universe, God, whomever you use, whatever term you use. But you go into a meditative state and you said, what is the truth about this situation? What is this truth? Sometimes I also ask myself, what is the lesson I'm learning from this? What am I getting from doing this? What is my lesson? Especially when something doesn't go too well, even when it goes very well, what is it that I am supposed to, what is this experience doing for me? How is it helping me grow, or is it having me go in a different direction? What is the truth about this situation? If I'm suffering from something, if I am hurt, if I have been maligned, or something didn't go exactly right, I can say, what do I need to do to be healed completely? So that might be with my health, it might be with a situation, it might be with an argument, it might be with whatever. What do I need to do to be healed completely? You see, infinite intelligence knows everything that we need to know. And it will show me all that I need to know. I just need to be open to the possibility. And I say I need to be open, but in reality, you can be open to the possibilities yourself. You can learn to calm yourself, relax yourself, take yourself into a meditative state where you are open to receive all the knowledge that you need to receive at this time. I have done meditation, and many of you have done meditation, but you haven't done it in a way of being open to receive. You've been meditating to relax, to lower your blood pressure and do those kinds of things. However, I want you to learn to meditate, to open your mind, to receive answers for the questions that you have. I hope that today I've given you some good things to think about. One, about being prosperous and the prosperity gospel and some of the things that it dealt with that. But understanding that when you speak, you decree a thing, it will be established. That you can ask for peace and prosperity. But the key thing is to start listening so that you hear the answers and be able to ask the right question, like, what is the truth in this situation? And what is it that I need to do? I said to be healed completely, or just what is it that I need to do to make this situation better? Now, if you're listening to this in your car and you're driving, do not close your eyes or just end it at this point, because I'm going to take you through a short meditation. If you're operating machinery, stop, or just again, stop listening at this point. All right, so take a deep breath in and out. Take another deep breath in and out. Relax. Starting at the top of your head, feel as though you are just melting and that you're relaxing every muscle of your body. If you're not sure about how to relax, tense up and then relax it. But then even after you relax it, there is even another level of relaxation that you can do. Take a deep breath in and out. And as you're breathing out, visualize all the tension coming out every time you breathe out. Breathing in peace and tranquility, and breathing out tension. Breathe in peace. Breathe out tension. Feel the muscles in your body all the way down from the top of your head down through your neck and your shoulders and your back and your hips and your stomach and your thighs and your knees and your calves, your ankles, your feet, all the way into your toes. And your toes, just see that tension just fall off, spilling out, being absorbed by the ground, by the floor, by the carpeting, whatever is under your feet. Just, again, visualize just everything just melting away and totally relax your body. Because there is a power and a presence within this universe that is within each and every one of us, that connects each and every one of us together. That power and presence is creative energy, infinite intelligence, the creator of the world. And you can get any answer that you need simply by asking. Take a deep breath in and out. And just visualize yourself floating up and so relaxed that you're floating on a cloud. And you know, when you get in this relaxed situation, you know mentally you can ask for what you want and fully accept that you will get an answer to that question in a very short period of time. Usually within 24 hours. Sometimes it takes a little longer. But if you're asking to make a decision, ask in such a way that you can get a yes or no answer. Take a deep breath in and out. And now that you know what this feels like, you can do this each and every time. At least once a day, you'll learn how to take deep breath in, relax your entire body, and let yourself feel as though you're floating on a cloud. Now I want you to mentally, not out loud, because it disrupts the equilibrium and the meditative state. So mentally, repeat after me every day, in every way. I am better, better, and better. Negative thoughts nor negative images have power over me at any level of mind, and it is so. Thank you. Thank you. I'm going to count from 1 to 5. At the count of 5, you'll be wide awake, feeling fine, feeling better than before. 1, 2, 3, coming up slowly now. 4, 5, wide awake, feeling fine, feeling better than before. Well, thank you so much for being here today. I know that I normally do my meditations at the beginning, but today I wanted to leave you in a refreshed and relaxed state. Don't forget, be sure to subscribe, hit the up button, and join me on YouTube's, on Spreaker, on iTunes. I'm out there, and share the information so that you can help someone else, or help me help somebody else learn how to live their life easily and effortlessly and in a positive manner. This is Beverly-Fells-Jones, the Silver Fox of Consciousness, and I will see you on the next broadcast. Thank you for listening today. Please share the link to this show with your friends and family so that they can learn how to be the best that they can be. Visit my website at commandingyourlife.com and follow me on Facebook. Have any suggestions for the show? Just contact me by emailing Beverly at commandingyourlife.com. Be sure to join me on the next episode. As you have believed, let it be done to you, and it is so.